Have you ever felt like you were losing money in your career? Perhaps you have not been able to advance in your career the way that you wanted to, or perhaps you feel like you are not at the salary where you would like to be, or perhaps you found yourself in a situation where your career is stuck and you're not moving forward in the positive upward trend direction. Well, I'm going to share with you a mistake that can cost you a significant amount of money in your career. And I want to share this mistake with you because I want you to avoid it, because I don't want you to make this mistake. Many people do. And so if you are watching my videos or subscribe to my channel or following me on any other social media platforms that I have accounts on right now, you know that I don't want you to make mistakes. I really want you to elevate yourself as a woman in leadership. So I'm going to share with you a mistake that people make, and you want to stay to the end of this video because you're going to learn three scenarios that I personally have dealt with in my career as it relates to this mistake. And one of them actually cost me money. The other two, I was able to overcome them. And I want to share with you what happened in those scenarios because it will truly be able to give you some insight in terms of what you can do so that you don't make this mistake and that you make as much money as you can while you are working for someone else. The first mistake that people make, and this is the main mistake I'm going to talk about and share some insights with you, is that they do not know how to communicate in a professional way. Many people think that communication skills is a soft skill, that sometimes people can learn it and sometimes people don't really have to learn it. You just have to be able to speak to other people. Well, communicating professionally is something that I have found will cost you money in your career. I have seen it in scenarios where people have not been able to communicate that has cost them money. It has cost them their jobs. It has cost them relationships. It has cost them opportunities and so many more things that this skill, if you don't master it, will cost you money. And it is a skill that can be learned. It is a skill that can be developed. It is a skill that you can master, but you may need some guidance to do that. And what I would encourage you to do is to develop this skill as quickly as you can, because this is going to be the number one skill that will completely change your life. And if you don't master it, it's going to cost you a lot of money in your career. So before I get into it, I want to say hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm sharing with you all the one career mistake that will cost you money. Don't make this mistake. I just said the mistake, but for those of you who are just joined, I want to say hello, roommates. Hello, Rafa. Hello. I hope you all are doing well. So I'm going to share with you the mistake that I mentioned a moment ago because there are a lot of you just joined. But then I want to go into with you scenarios as to what happened to me personally when I made this mistake and lost a lot of money over my career. So the mistake that people make, this mistake will cost you money. And that mistake is to not learn how to communicate professionally. If you don't learn how to communicate, you can't articulate yourself in a salary negotiation. You can't be able to express yourself in an interview. You can't be able to negotiate a higher salary or negotiate a new business opportunity or be able to be fully present for people to want to have you work with them if you can't communicate in a professional way. I want to share with you a couple scenarios that actually impacted me personally as it relates to communication that I wish that somebody would have told me about when I was starting on my career, and how much of an impact being able to communicate will have on your growth. The first scenario, hello everyone. Hello Haley, how are you? Great to see you. The first thing I want to say, actually, before I go into what happened to me personally, is if you have any questions about how to communicate, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, I will help you. Leave me a message here in the chat. If you have any questions as it relates to anything in terms of being able to communicate at a higher level, I'm here to support you on your journey, and I will make sure you get to where you need to be. If you have any scenarios that come up, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer any questions that you have. So what happened to me the first time that this mistake, not being able to communicate, cost me money was when I graduated from undergraduate and I was going into the biotechnological field at the time. That's completely different than what I do right now. So this was many, many years ago. But I graduated from college with a bachelor's degree, interviewed with the DNA sequencing laboratory, and when they asked me what salary I was looking for, I had nothing in mind. I didn't even know what to say. I had nothing to say. And they asked me, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, what are you offering? And that's something that I should not have said. I should not have communicated that. I would have done it completely differently now than what I did back then. What happened in that case is they told me what the salary was, and instead of being able to communicate like an executive and negotiate the salary, guess what I did? I said, okay. And I just took the salary and just went about my happy way working in a DNA sequencing lab. Fast forward a few months later, I found out this. Are you ready? This is something I found out. I found out that there were people at my job at the same level of career that I was at without a bachelor's degree that were making significantly more money than I was. I could have made a lot more money if I would have been able to communicate professionally and articulate my value. So I learned that, and guess what? I have never looked back since because I learned my lesson. This is one of the reasons why if you do not master how you communicate, it will cost you money. It will cost you a significant amount of money. And at that point in my career, it really did cost me a lot of money because I could have been making a significantly more than what I was making coming out of school with a bachelor's degree. So that's the one story I want to share with you. The mistake I don't want you all to make is that. Now, I do want to say hello to everyone. Hello, hello. Hope y'all are doing well today. Hello, Raven. Hello, Alpha Mode. Hope y'all are doing well. The second scenario, now this is when I started to learn more about how this mistake, not being able to communicate properly as a professional, would have cost me money. But I became a bit better on salary negotiations. So I'm going to share with you what happened. So when I was leaving the DNA sequencing lab, and remember, I didn't communicate, and people that did not have a bachelor's degree was making significantly more than I was. So I already learned my lesson. But I was looking for another job opportunity in a forensics DNA laboratory at that time. And what happened is when I talked to the hiring manager, and this is many, 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 many years ago. So I talked to the hiring manager, and they asked me about salary expectations. So I was able to communicate and share with them, this is what I'm looking for as it relates to salary. So I didn't box myself in. I asked, well, what range do you offer for someone with my level of expertise? They told me, we're going to offer you a salary of $32,000. And I said, okay, I actually make that salary right now. So is there something else that you can offer me? Now think about what I said. I let them know I was able to communicate as a professional, and I let them know this salary you're offering me is not working. It's not working for me at all. And guess what happened? They actually offered me more money for me to move to that location. So I want to share this with you because being able to master how you communicate and not let this mistake cost you money will prove to help you and benefit you as you are transitioning in your career. If you have ever had a situation where you wanted to negotiate a higher salary or you had a problem being able to articulate your value, then let me know. Put something in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer some questions for you and give you some additional insights that will help you on your journey. Now, I'm going to go into my third scenario. This is one that you have to be sitting down for. You have to be sitting down for this one because I learned this was so important and how this mistake, I'm telling you, this mistake will cost you so much money in your career if you do not know how to communicate, because people will take advantage of you and not treat you the way you want to be treated. So are you ready? Are you ready for this last scenario? Just let me know. Put something in the chat. Just let me know you're ready. So this is what happened. And this is why, once again, if you make this mistake, not being able to communicate as a professional, it will cost you money. Okay, it will cost you money. I already gave you a scenario when I lost money because I didn't communicate, I didn't negotiate my salary. My second scenario, I was able to negotiate a bit better. Now I'm going to share with you the third one that was just completely blew my mind. But I'm going to tell you all because you need to know these things. You need to know these scenarios as a professional and as a woman in leadership. You need to know these scenarios really do happen in the world today. You'll be surprised what they do. So this is what happened. This is what happened to me specifically. I interviewed for a high executive role, and the role that I interviewed for was very involved. I was going to be doing the job literally of about 6 people. And when I asked for a specific salary, the hiring manager at the time, who actually was the leader of the organization, let me know they had to think about it. They had to think about the salary. And I said, okay, well, think about the salary, because this is what I know that I'm worth. I already had experience in this role, being a manager and being at a higher level in senior leadership. And so this is what I can offer, and this is what I'm looking for if you want to have me as a superstar employee. That's how I think about myself, and I hope you think about yourself that way too. Well, they offered me a position, the same one I interviewed for, at the salary that I was looking for. However, let me say this. That's what I asked for. The initial offer that they gave to me was a bit less than what I actually asked for. Now, remember, I told you that I was going to be doing the job of about 6 people, and they offered me a salary of, let's say, I'm going to throw a number out there just to throw a number. Let's say they offered a salary of $50,000. They said, we're going to pay you $50,000 to do all this stuff for 6 people, which is not the salary, by the way. So I said, okay, well, I would prefer to have $75,000 or something like that. And they gave me what I was looking for. However, after I started the job, as an executive, I had an idea of everyone's salaries and kind of where everybody was at. And I found out that people that did not have the job of 6 people would have been making the same salary that they offered to me, even though I was doing the job of 6 people. Now, I'm going to say that again, because this is something that happens all the time. If you're not able to communicate and articulate your value, I was going to be offered, as a senior leader, the same amount as someone who was doing one job when I would have been doing the job of 6 people. If, in retrospect, I didn't know that at the time, but I found that out later on after I had been working in the role for several months, I figured all that out. But if I would have not communicated and been able to be professional and have that conversation, I would have been upset. I would have been not happy about that, because basically someone that I would have been managing was making the same salary as myself, and I'm doing 5 more times the jobs that they were doing. This is the reason why this mistake will cost you money. If I would have just went for the job and accepted the offer and not try to communicate or negotiate, I would have been in a situation where I would have probably looked for another opportunity relatively quickly, because that's just simply not right. So I hope that this information that I shared with you is helpful to you, because these are the things that people are not talking about on YouTube. And I'm starting to see that in terms of communication. There's a lot of videos out there that talk about how you communicate better, what you should do, and some techniques you should try. I have videos like that on my channel too, and that is very important. You need to have a very good knowledge base as it relates to how you communicate. However, there has to be more of a candid conversation in terms of what happens when you do not have this skill. It can cost you a lot of money in your career. I want to know from you, have you ever lost money in your career by not being able to communicate or not being able to negotiate your salary? Put it in the comments below. And if you have any questions for me as it relates to this, I'd be happy to answer them for you. If you're watching the replay, I'm here to support you on your journey, and I want to make sure that you are not making this critical mistake in your career that is going to cost you money. So for those of you who are just now joining, I want to share with you this mistake will cost you money in your career. And that mistake is to not be able to communicate as a professional. I have seen it to where personally it has cost me money in my career. I've seen it cost my clients money in their careers. I've seen it cost people the ability to negotiate salaries, go for promotions, or advance in their careers. If you can't communicate in a way that people understand you or communicate like an executive, it's going to make it very difficult for you to be able to achieve the goals that you want to accomplish in your career. So I want you to avoid this mistake that people are not talking about on YouTube. Now, I want to know from you, did you find any value here? If you did, feel free to like this video. I see many of you have liked it already, so I appreciate you all so much for that. And I'm going to be putting out, of course, more videos as well to help you truly elevate your communication skills, your confidence, and your executive presence. If this is something that you're trying to establish and you're a woman in leadership, this is the place for you to be. I do realize I have other people that have subscribed to my channel too. And I'm just going to share with you information that's going to help you on your career journey, because ultimately, regardless of gender, these are things that we simply aren't taught when we go to college, or if we are in businesses or in different roles. There's not a book that says this is what you should do when you have a bad situation. This is how you should speak to someone when you are not sure of what you should say. It's just not in the book. It's something that you have to learn from people. So I want to share with you and be able to help you fast track your success by gaining from my 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, as a manager, as a director, as a public speaker, and as an executive coach to help you fast track your career. Now, I have something special for you. For those of you who are still here on the live, I have a free masterclass coming up this Monday at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time that is on one of the topics that was voted on my different types of platforms I have accounts on. That topic is interview preparation, and there's going to be a bit of a touch on salary negotiation. So if you have someone that is in the interview process right now, I know interviewing right now is very challenging. I know it's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things on the federal government. People, in terms of employers, are pausing a bit on positions. But nonetheless, if you are in the middle of interviews and you need some additional support, this is going to be a great masterclass for you to attend. By the end of the masterclass, you are going to feel a bit more confident about the interview process and feel more empowered about interviewing and not letting interviewing stress you out. I'm going to give you a very good roadmap to help you prepare for your interviews. And if you need some additional support, some one-on-one support, there'll be an opportunity for us to work together so I can assist you, because I will help you ace your interview. Even if you don't get the position, you are going to do well in your interviews, because I truly believe sometimes positions are meant for you and sometimes positions are not meant for you. But I will guarantee that you're going to feel good by the time we work together in the interview. I've done it many times with my clients, and I have several reviews on my LinkedIn page as it relates to that. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And if you want to attend the masterclass, the registration is limited. I am going to do it in a workshop style so that people can ask me questions and learn from my over hundreds of interviews and resumes that I've reviewed to help you be able to answer questions better and rephrase things in a way that positions you as an expert, not as someone who is a novice that is not quite sure of how they want to present themselves. This is a great masterclass. It's going to be a workshop. The spaces will be limited. So you want to register for the event. What I will do is I'll put the registration link in the description below. Just give me a few moments. As soon as I get off the live, I'll put that in there. I'll put it at the very top so that you can register for the masterclass. This is going to be a masterclass you're going to want to attend if you're trying to review your interview preparation skills and really accelerate in your career and get to that next move that will hopefully help you to start living that dream life that you are looking for as soon as possible. So if you have any questions, contact me at info@exciteexcellence.org, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.